Good morning, Brew Daily show. I'm Neal Freyman.
And I'm Toby Howell.
Today, we've got some special bonus content for you, an exclusive interview with Billy Magnussen, the very talented actor and star of the new AMC show, The Audacity.
Carl Bardoff. Duncan Park. Hypergnosis. Big fan. Super huge. Hugest. It's titanic. Uncomfortably huge. Mind if I sit? Your manifesto, Bardoff's Law, that was super important to me, In a society driven by technology, growth will continue endlessly. The ultimate hockey stick. Yeah, you're on my Mount Rushmore, Carl. Tell you that. But you're not stone, you are flesh. And I bet you're not done. Not even close. So me, I co-founded Fafa.com. Fafa, you've heard of it? Nope. FAH-FA.com. Yeah, it was huge in 09 early, but it doesn't matter. My latest enterprise, Hypergnosis. Data analytics, great algo. The thing is, Cupertino wants us. Yeah, we're in acquisition talks. It got leaked to the press a couple of weeks ago, so I'm not talking out of school, but I think it's a big mistake taking the deal. You know what it's like there, golden handcuffs, you get it. So I was thinking, if I could find a private placement investor, someone whose reputation for picking winners is so stellar, and here you are. So I gotta ask, how about us? And maybe Hypergnosis is how you get back in the game? Double rainbow. With a forward-facing data analytics company, we could really make something. What the is wrong? Oh my God!
This series, the brainchild of Jonathan Glatzer of Succession and Better Call Saul fame, skewers Silicon Valley and the tech executives who are in over their heads.
And we get into how Silicon Valley is reacting to the show, how AI is being received in Hollywood, and got deep about what makes art art. We hope you enjoy it, and let's ride.
Billy, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks so much.
So you were in The Big Short.
I was.
Skewered finance, and now a decade later you're in The Audacity, which skewers tech.
Yeah.
Is there any part of making this show that reminded you of The Big Short?
Again, working with talented people is always a gift, a gift in this industry. That's the similar quality, I would say. You have Jonathan Glatzer, who I would say is one of the most profound writers right now, Shakespearean and stuff like that. Not that he's a tech wizard, but him dissecting humanity and putting that at the forefront is the most important thing. With The Big Short, it's the same thing. It's people making these choices and these decisions. And I think that's your job as an artist, is put the mirror up to society. I'm not commenting on it. These people are doing horrible things. We're just showing you what's happening. And I think that's important for people.
So you did kind of put the mirror up. I heard you screened this show for people within Silicon Valley, and a lot of them were like, whoa, this is a little too real. But on the same page, a lot of them said, I don't really see myself reflected in this. So what do you think about that disconnect, and what does it say about the people that you're kind of holding the mirror up to?
That disconnect. There's two parts. I want to just remind me to talk about disconnect. I think it's a true honor to go to Silicon Valley and everyone be like, wow, you kind of nailed it. Everyone's like, yeah, I know that guy. And then not realizing maybe they are that guy. Everyone thinks it's the other person in the room, where you're going, no, it's you guys. It's literally you. And it's such a gift. And the point I wanted to bring up about disconnect, it's, a certain type of, from my observation, a certain type of person ends up in Silicon Valley, their history, who they were growing up. And it's a lot of people that can't connect, and they're creating programs about how people should interact and connect, how they talk, how they work out, how they to steal Jonathan Glatzer's line, how they masturbate. Like, they know everything about people, but they don't know how to connect to people, and we're supposed to be listening to them to how to do our lives or how to present ourselves. It's kind of outrageous, or should I say audacious, of these people to control it.
Do you have like kind of an anecdote from when you showed the show to someone and they were like pointing to one character and say like, I do know that guy. I just want to hear about what someone's reaction was once they saw it.
Oh, everyone wants to drop a name.
Yeah.
That's for sure. They go, I know who it is. It's blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Why not? I see these people in the headlines. We know who they are. They're living, some guys trying to beat time and death. And we know who that is. We see a guy trying to fly outer space, but then also people buying politicians. Like, they're out there. They're in the headlines. I just collect things I like and hate about these people. And
what'd you learn about their motivation? Like, is it money, power, influence? What is success to them?
I think power, money. I empathize weirdly at the same time with these people, because I think they did come to the Valley I think anyone's impulse or the genesis of an idea comes from healing something in yourself, and you want to create something beautiful in this world. And then they realized they made a lot of effing money going this way, and they're like, well, are we fighting actually what we want to do and create? Oh, but we're making a lot of effing money here.
What do you sell?
No, the future.
No, Prince Michigan. Data. The VA has 16 million wounded heroes in its files. You don't think Big Pharma would want data like that? Well, life insurance companies are bloody commemorative coins. And if those data sales fund the good work of actually helping people who really do deserve it, maybe we can still get to heaven. Win-win.
It just feels like without Hamish, like everyone's looking at me, waiting for me to just fall on my dick.
No one is looking at you.
That's supposed to make me feel better?
What, you want people to look at you?
Yes, I want them to look and see someone awesome.
You could get that misdirect, that, the veil of power and money and greed can really cloud your vision. And I empathize with that. You get lost. And I think sometimes...
How do you straddle the line when...
Unless they're like horrible people, and they're like, no, we just want to...
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I would love to have enough money for that to cloud my vision one day. We'll see.
But I do wonder, as an actor, how do you straddle the line between injecting some humanity into your portrayal versus kind of going down the villain route? Because I have read some reviews, and your character Duncan Park has been described as like punchable in ways. But you don't want to like go too far in that direction. So where is like the humanity?
No one thinks there's the villain in their story. They're literally trying to do the best they can. So I think operating from a place of hope, love, positivity is the intention, not saying that their decisions are wrong, and on the outside you're going like, wow, that's a horrible choice. But living and breathing inside a character, they're doing the best they can.
Is there anything you admired about Duncan Park or his real life equivalent?
Oh, yeah. I think it's the tenacity to just keep going, like get kicked. Like one thing I love that Jonathan Glatzer puts in the show is that he always has Duncan getting hurt, and you see his blood. And showing that goes like, you are human. You're not flawless. You have cracks in you, and there is pain and all that. And I think that's a beautiful way to describe a character that we believe are untouchable. And that's one of the things I loved about working on this world is like, no matter how much money you have, how much power you have, you can still walk into a room with your fly down and you be humiliated. And
Done.
Yeah, but like that, no one's above that. You
don't need to give any spoilers right now, but was there a moment in production where, a real headline came out that really closely mirrored what happened in the show, and you're like, wow, this got very real very fast?
Funny enough, Jonathan explains this story that like we have a storyline with the VA and all of that, and the struggle that has in coming and penetrating the valley. But then Doge came in and gutted all that world, and so like he's writing it, and then all of a sudden, Doge came in and gutted all that in the world, and you're like, oh no, like that's scary. Some other guy there's a line in our show, empathy is just pathetic with an M in front of it. And someone just said being empathetic is, a weakness in the valley. And you go like, wait, how is being empathetic a weakness? I wrote it a year ago, but it showed up. I think Jonathan Glatzer is, again, one of the best, greatest writers of our time.
Did filming this show make you reconsider your own relationship with tech, like the phone in your pocket, social media, just your own ways you're interacting with the internet?
Well, how about, I think, don't we all kind of know we're like, your big brother a little bit there? We feel it. I know don't accept cookies. Definitely don't do that.
I accept cookies, actually. Whatever will make
only from strangers.
Whatever will make
Only
the
from
pop-up go away faster.
Right.
What I've learned doing this project is that, the oil of Silicon Valley is people's data. And data is everything, and that's evergreen. And that's what the industry is built on. Yes, we have AI coming out and stuff like that, and it's like being forced down our throats a little bit. This is my opinion. It could be a wonderful tool, but before accepting it into my daily life, how about you actually show us that it's going to cure cancer?
Yeah.
Once you do that, okay, yeah, I'll bring it into my life. But for some reason, I've noticed this. The culture there is like we're providing the future. Okay, what is it? No, we're providing the future. Yeah. What is it? What is that? And they can't define it. Again, give me a tangible goal or a tangible resource that you go like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, we're always 10 years away from being 10 years away from the next big thing, right? Yeah. But I do wonder though, like, do you go on Instagram less now, or was it not bad?
It's, I think from my vintage of my age, I do find it ironic, like social media, this thing that's supposed to connect us. You only see curated things in this place that's supposed to be authentic. Oh, this is authentically me, but it's all curated. And it celebrates mediocrity, in my opinion. I don't want to live on it. I think the problem with it, again, I feel very negative here talking about it. But yeah, you're always comparing yourself to the world instead of like, when I grew up, Tommy down the street did something crazy, and then all of a sudden it was a legendary story. Mm-hmm. And that story had the power. I don't think story is ever going to go away, but those fallacies, those legends are missing that. And now everything's just...
Yeah, on the other hand, I saw a very funny reel the other day, and I showed Toby, and we laughed about it together. And he does that the same with me, and it's bonded us together. So very similar to the kid down the street doing his antics.
Yeah. I do wonder.
What do you think? What do you guys think? I'm like really curious about that. Like your relationship with social media. Like, what is that?
I do think your generational thing that you called out, like I really did come of age during it. So I don't know a world really before it that much. And so, but that being said, I do feel grateful that I have the ability to navigate like AI deepfakes right now, for instance. Like I keep seeing my parents, not to call them out, like sending me stuff that is clearly AI. And I'm like, I empathize with you because you maybe are not as trained in like the language of the internet. So it's a double-edged
sword. But it's also something you can delete. It doesn't exist. There's not a place. And so why did we give it this much power?
Because we're addicted. I think we are addicted.
We know that. Yeah. There was a case that just got...
We are addicted. I generally think that social media is maybe a little bit better than people make it out to be. I don't really have a strong conviction about that. I know it's harmful for certain populations, but for others, at least for me, I see awesome content on there. And I know I was joking about the reel, but I learn a lot of stuff on social media, and I think a lot of other people do too.
Where do you think you get all your swing tips?
Yeah,
all my swing tips.
Right before.
People stumble onto
new
onto new recipes. I don't know. It's just where a lot of content lives, so it's hard to imagine
I
life
think
without it.
There's beautiful things there, and I think that is information is power, and like if you share beautiful things, but we obviously know misinformation exists there, and it is deadly.
One thing we did talk about recently on the show is the proliferation of restaurants and bars that ban phones. So when you walk into the restaurant, this is increasing. You walk into the restaurant and they have this pouch and you have to put your phone in, and then people leave the restaurant and they're like, that was the best experience I've ever had. Well, so we
how much are these restaurants? Like, you're not going.
Well, Chick-fil-A is doing it actually. They have a promotion where there's in certain locations where you put your phone away and they'll give you ice cream to your family if you don't use your phone.
One addiction for the other.
Yeah.
We did touch on AI a little bit, so I am curious your thoughts on AI encroaching on Hollywood. There seems to be a lot of concern around this, just from sort of your insider perspective. What is the general vibe towards AI in Hollywood right now?
I think it's getting really good, and then you have shows out there that are, we see them weekly, and like AI can replicate those type of shows. The purpose of art is to connect with someone, to not feel alone. You see a beautiful painting. That painter needed to express some feeling, emotion. And if it resonates with someone else, that is the power of art. You're not alone. You're going like, oh my God, I had that feeling and I share it with someone. That's beautiful. When it's fabricated, I feel a hollowness there. So that whatever that intangible magic that art is, or like a song being written, you connect deeper than just the notes on the being played. It's something deep.
We did just see, though, Ben Affleck started an AI production company, sold it to Netflix, and his whole pitch is that it speeds up the post-production process. Maybe not, the soul of the piece, but the coloring, all the stuff that needs to be done to bring it to market. What do you think about that?
Well, okay. If we're like, we have to dissect this whole thing so much more. There used to be a thing called, independent films, and they still exist. They're there, and I'm proud to be a part of it. I have a production company, Happy Bad Bungalow. We're putting it out there. To make films nowadays, it's so expensive. It's so expensive, and like studios don't seem to be investing in young up-and-coming artists. They want to remake something or blah, blah. We see it all the time. To have that tool, a resource for a film that is made on a shoestring budget is fantastic to help these young artists do that. But the problem is the industry doesn't celebrate it as well. There was a time we had DVDs, we had VHS, where actors actually made money. Now it goes to a streaming service owned by a tech company where you as a performer, producer, whatever, you don't get a cut anymore. You don't get a cut of your product. So I think that's the bigger issue, is that like the waterfall effect of it all has been dammed up.
So you own a production company.
I created.
You created. Yeah. What is the future of Hollywood, like Los Angeles, as movie production?
If I had a crystal ball, I would love to know. I hope just the industry starts focusing on young, innovative voices. Shakespeare wasn't Shakespeare. He had a time where he was just, who's the Shakespeare guy? But now it's celebrated. Who's the Shakespeare of our time? And why are we not celebrating those voices? Like
Jonathan Glatzer.
Jonathan Glatzer, baby!
Shakespeare of our time.
What was it like working with him?
A gift. A real gift. I've come to love that man deeply. In this industry, you can only hope to work with people that are collaborative, and remember that this industry is a collaborative industry, like where you might have the best idea, you might not, but I'm willing to listen and build it together, because they're lighting people, like putting this thing together. Even your podcast show, like there's so many people behind you helping you out. And so, like, who has the best idea? Let's collaborate together. Yeah. And, like, that's always so much more fun to have a community to build something with. And Glatzer creates the space for everyone to feel like an artist.
I am curious. So Glatzer is fresh off Succession, which a lot of people loved, spending time with characters that are pretty hateable. And then I would say that your show is almost in that same vein. What is it about hateable characters that make people just can't look away?
We've seen like the success of reality TV. There's something I think in the zeitgeist. I don't have the answer, but there's something in the zeitgeist being like, I'm not as bad as those people. And it's as you watch it, you're going like, oh, at least I'm not that bad.
Yeah.
But there's a fascination with watching these people and going down their rabbit holes.
I think we just like drama. We're just hardwired to
Of
like
course.
drama too,
Like, isn't that like everyone loves a success story, but then they love a tragedy once it's,
All right, we got one final question for you. You have appeared in movies, TV shows, and Broadway productions. So we're going to ask you to...
And off-Broadway.
And off-Broadway.
Yeah.
We're going to ask you to kiss, marry, kill movies, TV, Broadway.
Damn, that's a tough one.
You can have a throuple, I guess.
You
can marry them all
that's a
if
tough
you
one.
want.
I know you wanted a quick...
Bravo.
I think everything comes back to theater. I think that storytelling will never die. And then, like, the avenues of which you tell that story. Again, we have it on phone now. If it was social media in there, I would definitely kill social media.
Right.
That'd be a little too easy.
What is it about theater that is just... I would assume a lot of people who have appeared on both movie, TV, or theater just have such a soft spot for theater. Is it just the live interaction, or is it the fact that you can't mess up? Yeah.
Yeah. We have a finite time on this world, and there was a moment where we were all together and we shared an intimate 2 hours in the theater. No one recorded it, no one ever, but magic happens. Like, have you ever seen a recording of a play? You're like, oh, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because it's the connection of the audience and the people on stage and the magic their imagination makes. It's a playground.
The only production I've been in, High School Musical in high school.
And how much did you love it?
It was awesome. It was
exactly
amazing. But having to do Bop to the Top in front of my high school principal, that just was...
What role
rough.
were you?
I was Ryan, obviously. I was Ryan.
I've never seen it.
Like the movie or the...
No,
the
my production of it, no.
that too.
Yeah.
It's a movie. It's a great movie. I think you should watch it.
Shakespearean.
I would kiss it
Good.
if I had to. All right, Billy, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Everyone, definitely check out the Audacity on AMC Plus.
Yeah,
It comes
please.
out on this Sunday.
April 12th.
April 12th.
Yeah.
If you want to see Silicon Valley skewered by this guy over here.
We got, Zach Galifianakis,
And
Sarah
a
Goldberg,
great crew.
Lucy. Yeah. Lucy Punch, fantastic.
Thank you so much, Billy.
Thanks, guys.